Okay, so I've picked the car up from the interior trimmers, and you probably can't see a great deal at the moment, but I'll show you obviously in a minute. It's looking pretty good in here. I'm really sort of satisfied, stroke pleased with it. Kind of thought they were going to do the doors and stuff, not their fault, it's mine not really getting the full gist of what they scoped. Anyway, it's looking good. Seats are really nice and clean, but they're really genuine. They've done a really nice back parcel shelf out of leather in a really good matching blue. So yeah, all in all, it's good. Whenever I drive this car, I'm kind of seem to be in two minds. Sometimes I just see the positive in it, and other times I just see the negative in it. And I'm sort of in one of those at the moment because I think because it's been away for a couple of weeks, my memory of it was more positive, shall we say, or probably felt it's moved further on than it actually has, because there's still a ton of work to do, which is fine. But I've got to look at it. We're in the last third now. It's got to be the last third, so there's lots of bits and bobs to do, but perhaps hopefully these next parts we're going to do are going to be the finishing touches rather than sort of the bulk maintenance. So interior wise, the seats look really smart. The steering wheel's been painted. We've got new carpets in the footwells, which are nice. We've got some sound deadening in. There's still a lot to do though. I've got to put the centre console back in. I've got to sort the door cards out because they didn't do that. I think in hindsight I jumped in a bit too quick. Should have actually written down what I thought they were going to do and they could have agreed it, whatever. So it's a bit disappointing. I think I made a mistake there really. What they've done is fine, but it's not what I was expecting, so I should have just leveled my expectation with what they were going to provide. It could, you know, I don't know whether the price I paid, which is £1,450 to do the seats, the steering wheel, put some new carpets in, do the back parcel shelf, which is now leather, whether that's a good price or a bad price. It seems really expensive to me, but it's the first one I've ever had done, so I've got nothing to compare it with. So maybe a lesson there, but as you can tell by my voice, I'm not overly overly pleased. But what they did do is great, but I've got lots more to do in here.
Daddy?
Yeah?
How long,
Got this piece here, which has got the sort of analog adjustment of the speakers back and forth. You know, the fade forwards and back. It's got what the leftover bits from the old immobiliser. So ideally I wouldn't put that in because it fits just in here. It clips up there. So if I didn't have it in, it wouldn't matter. But the problem is underneath there's another module which is central locking. So when you're in the car, you can press a button and it locks the car, doors, etc. So I need the other thing in there. So I might have to just put this back in as it is, but it's not particularly nice putting stuff in that doesn't work. I'm better off leaving these in. I think if I leave holes in, it'll look worse. I guess it could be a deterrent as well. Right, so I've reinstalled the centre console. It's nice and strong now. If you remember at the first video, when we had a look around the car, this was just hanging off. So now it's really clean, it's solid in position. This has all been restored. So yeah, I'm really happy with that part. I've put these bits of trim here that cover the heaters. So it's starting to take shape now. I think I'm going to move my attention to get the stereo in and the rear speakers. I can't do the front speakers at the moment because that's another story which I'll come to shortly. Okay, so I'm going to put some new speakers in. I've got these JBL speakers. They'll slot in to there. New grills should look smart. I've got to secure this bit of trim, it's a bit loose. But hey, shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, we've got a speaker in. Even that was a nightmare. So anyway, we're in. It smartened it up, so that's good. Okay, so the rear of the car is done now. That's as good as I'm going to get it for now. I've got the speakers in. It's all vacuumed, it's all cleaned. It's looking pretty good. It's not perfect, but you know, I've got to keep this in perspective as what this car's going to be. It's not concours. It is what it is. To a degree, I've done what I can to make it as good as I can. So there's bits of, you know, that's not perfect. There's lots of imperfections, let's face it. It's an old car, etc. But actually I'm quite happy with the back now. I'll get a cover for this, so when this is down, I'll try and get a blue cover that matches the interior, and that'll tidy that up. And yeah, it's starting to look good. Next thing I can do is put the head unit in. That'll just really finish this dashboard off, because it's annoying just looking at a load of cables hanging out there. So I can get this wired in and at least test the rear speakers before we move on to these doors, which need a bit of attention. So quite a nice old school looking head unit, but it is DAB, so that's good. Okay, that goes there. So I've got the adapter. Weirdly, the radio didn't come with the adapter. I've got a digital antenna. I've got a massive manual. But I think ultimately I need to know where my feeds are. So I need a mains feed that's permanently there, so obviously the radio doesn't lose its memory. And then one for when I turn the ignition on, which sends a signal and turns it on. I've turned the ignition on and I have found a live that comes on, he says. Okay, yeah. So that's a live that comes on with ignition. Right, under the dashboard I found these two cables, which actually I think was for the original stereo that was, well, the stereo that was already in here. So that one's constant, ignition's off, so I'm going to use that as my constant. Okay, so this one is the light, the dashboard illumination, so that only comes on when the lights are on. So that's what I need next. I've got constant power, I've got earth, I've got the power that that sends a signal when you turn the ignition on. There's one that's connected to the dashboard lights, and there's also one that's connected to the aerial. Okay, last one of the speaker wires now. So they are all wired in. It's never that pretty, is it? It really isn't. There we are. It's looking really good in here now. Stereo's in, looks perfect. And I've given it a good vacuum again, tidied the wires up. It's just getting there now. It really feels, I really want to drive this now. So crack on with the next jobs. Let's try and get this thing done. Next job is to sort this door out. So as I've said before, when it was getting the interior done, one of the guys pulled the door handle and it snapped off. So I've got to take this to bits to get to that. But also, while I'm at it, I'm going to try and work out, there's a lot of play in this glass here. So when you're driving along with the roof up, it rattles away. So if there's something we can do on that, great. That's why I've left the other side the same. I haven't put the speaker and finished it off, because if I can work out what's wrong with this side and get that done, I'll do the same on the other side. So that's my next task.
Very comfy, Daddy.
Yeah.
Can I have this seat for my desk?
No.
And then I'll give you my other.
No.
Well, this is comfy. And it fits me.
Yeah.
What should I do?
I don't know.
I can see your face and the back of your head.
Well.
I'm just saying. I just want to say.
Right, so I've got a couple of nuts to remove in there, but there's, in the bottom of the door, there's a lot of dust and dirt. And there's kind of this sort of sealant, like a rope material that I think would have squeezed this up. So I think that's deteriorated, and just, that's why this is slack. But first I'm going to try and get the door handle off. How am I going to get the socket in there? Right, after quite a lot of messing around, I managed to get this off. Actually, it wasn't as bad as I was thinking. Once I could get in and just undo that rear bolt a little bit, it actually came off with my fingers, so that's good. So that's off. I found the piece that I need. It's pretty obvious, but I just wanted to check that all I needed was the one piece. So yeah, we're all sorted there. On the top here, rather than, so we've got this screen that's rattling. I think it's all the seals here that you can see, they're all broken. That one seems to be too short anyway. so water can get down there. So I've ordered replacement seals inside and outside. So I'm not going to take the mechanism out or anything. I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then hopefully when I get the new ones, I can take these off, put the new ones in, and that will probably, well, I'm hoping that will sort this problem out of the glass rattling. All the bolts and everything underneath are tight. So other than kind of probably changing the mechanism for the window, I think that's the best bet. I don't really want to go down the road of changing mechanisms and things like that. It just seems a bit over the top. So we'll see how we get on. We'll do that first and then decide. I wasn't thinking I'd be able to get this done in this video, but the new door handle just arrived, plus seals, bits and bobs. I've already got some new internal door handles, which are nice aluminium. I know they're not genuine, not original, but the original ones are horrible and I can't find any blue ones, so I'm going with these nice chunky aluminium ones because I think that'll give you a real nice feel when you open the door. So let's get cracking. Right, so I need to get this onto that shaft there. That's how it should move. It's moving fine. It's as soon as I put this in, seems to tighten it up. So that's 17 mil. So I need to work on the basis I need a lot more than that. So let's see what I can do. So that's the original. If I overlay them together, you'll see there's a large section here that's sticking out, and that's what's hitting the side. So because it's a remanufactured version, I mean, I'm sure they've sold these before, but I'm going to take a bit of that off. So we've got about 20, well, not about, we've got 20 mil now. And look, really nice. Okay, I've got some new seals, so I'm going to try and replace these and see where we get from there. So if you look in there, you can see that sort of rope product that I was talking about. So that is all collapsed, and I would suggest that is what the problem is. So I'm going to try and get this off. So there's a groove there, we'll put that groove on. Wow. Look at that. That is so much better, even without that finishing strip, which I'm waiting for. It's not rattling now. I mean, you can move it a bit, but oh, yes. Oh. Right, so the speaker on this side is going to have to help to really push this door card in. I suspect the previous speakers were hanging off the door card rather than going all the way through. I'm not 100% sure, but I need to self-tap them all the way through to get a really good grip. So that's my next job. Yeah, so they're a bit ugly, but they really make this door panel solid, and they'll be covered by the grille. So that's what I'm doing. Right, that's it for this week. It looks brilliant. I'm really happy with it. Got the other side to do next, but I won't record that. Hopefully it'll be a bit more plain sailing this side now I know what I'm doing. So really pleased with the result. Car is coming along really nicely. Once I've done the other side, I feel like the interior is sort of 90% there. It'll just be finishing touches, so really pleased with that. That's all I've got time for this week. Going forward, I'm going to do a video every 2 weeks because I can't do them every week because it's too I'm rushing too much, and as you know, if I'm rushing, I get the hammer out, I get impatient, and I just don't do a nice job. So every 2 weeks is much better. It gives me time to order parts, wait for them to be delivered, give me time to actually do the jobs, which do take a long time. So every 2 weeks I'm going to stick to this project to try and get this one done and out the door, because the summer is hopefully coming, although it's been raining constantly still. I've got the Mercedes SL, which is right at the beginning. I don't want 2 project cars, so I do want to get this one done first. Then I've got the Z4, which is a bit of fun project, really small project, but I'm enjoying that. I'm still driving it most days. I've got some updates to do on that as well. So those are the 3 project cars. Quite a few people have commented about other cars they've spotted in the background, so I will go through the car fleet. I like to call it a fleet, not a collection, because I don't think it's, well, I love it, but I don't think it's glamorous enough to call it a collection. But when we do get some sunshine, I'll get them all lined up and I'll talk you through each car and why I've got them, because I only buy cars that I love, and I'll tell you why I love them. So that's all for this week. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, subscribing, all that malarkey, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.